Hello there, welcome back to another video on Chargepoint stocks. So tonight we are talking about something very interesting indeed. We are asking the question, is Chargepoint stock a buy right now, or should you buy it after the merger does happen? So of course, I'm going to be sharing my opinions and a couple of other things which you might want to know regarding the company in the future. So I hope that sounds like a good video. If it does, please do leave a like and subscribe. Every single like helps us, and we are trying to get to 2,000 subscribers by tomorrow. So if we could hit that goal, it would be massively appreciated. Honestly, I just want to say thank you for all the support so far. Let's just keep that going into the future. On top of that, if you could come and join our Discord, it would be massively appreciated. We're trying to grow that as well. We're on about 120 members now, and it's really quite a nice place to be. I love talking to all of you guys. Right then, so let's just jump straight into this episode by having a quick look at how Chargepoint stock has been moving recently. You guys all know the story over the 6-month period. The stock was kind of flat at around $10, as is the case for most of these special acquisitions companies. And of course, once the merger news did come out around here, we did see a big increase, and the stock has been rallying upwards ever since. We did see a small decrease, or actually quite a significant decrease, from the price of about $37 all the way down to $29. And from that point, we've been rallying up ever since. I think a lot of people did see this as an opportunity to buy the dip, and I definitely do understand that mentality. I think when we're looking at the question of, should you buy this stock before or after the merger, in my opinion, and of course I am not a financial advisor, I definitely think this depends on a few factors. The main factors are how long you want to hold the stock for, what kind of profit you are going for, and of course what kind of risk you want to maintain in this investment. So of course, when we're talking about these, profit is of course one which people want to talk about first, and I think there are two ways to view even this topic. I think when we look at this stock in the long term, this is definitely a huge growth stock in my opinion. They have a lot of charging stations. A lot of their charging stations are already out. I have even walked past their charging stations in the street in my own country. I just think that's amazing. I think if they can get a lot more of these out in the world, this is going to grow in the future. I think another thing which is of course going to help this to grow in the future is the increasing amount of users of electric vehicles. Of course, electric vehicles will need charging at some point. That's where a company like this does come into place. These chargers are all over the place. They're at shopping centres, they're at car parks, and of course these are places where people are going to use them conveniently, and I think this is going to be a great factor for the growth of the company in the long term. So yeah, long-term growth, I definitely see this one being a big grower over a long period of time. I think this stock could definitely hit $500 by 2030, if not higher, but of course that's a long time away. Looking at this from profit from a short-term perspective, what do I, suggest? I would say if we look at this from a short-term profit perspective, if you are looking to hold this one for the next year or so, I would say get in after the merger, in my opinion. Of course, I am not a financial advisor, but my opinion for that is because with the merger, a lot of hype is definitely going to build up around the stock. I think now it's still not a bad price to get in at all, but I think in the future, I can see this one with pre-merger going up to potentially even $50. And if that's the case, we are looking at a well overinflated stock price. I think now we are even looking at an overinflated stock price, but I don't think it's necessarily too bad for the price to basically maintain itself within the next year to stay at a level above $36. But personally, I would not risk it. I would go in after the merger. Because like I always say about mergers, it is often the case that once a merger does go through, we see a lot of the hype come out of the deal. And then a lot of people do sell off the stock because, of course, a lot of people have their eyes on this stock. A lot of institutions are holding this and whatnot. And it does make sense for them because if you look at this, we've got a huge gain. We've got about 118% gain on only a few months. So if we're holding this one for a short term, from the beginning, it was looking like a good deal. So I understand people getting out once that merger has gone through. But yeah, for the short term, I would say if you want to get in now, you're definitely going to have to swing trade it, in my opinion, or at least be willing to take a loss because, of course, it's definitely in the risky category now because the stock price has gone up so much. It's getting to the point where you need to ask yourself, how long is this going to be sustainable for? So for a swing trade, I would personally buy in now or buy in at a point where you're comfortable at, potentially a dip tomorrow or next week or whenever. Buy in at the next dip or even now and then sell 1 to 2 days before the merger. And of course, if you really wanted to get proper into investing with this one, what I would do is I would then buy in maybe a week after the merger when the stock price has hopefully crashed a bit because a lot of hype has come out of the market. Then I think it is a much better time to get in for the long term because, of course, yes, if you were getting around this period when the stock price was at $13, $14, even $17, I don't think that was a bad point to buy in for the long term. But now it's getting to the point where this is probably going to come down a bit, and to get the best amount of money for your money, I would say it's best to wait only a few weeks or months until the merger goes through. So of course, that's my opinions. I definitely think it depends on how much risk you want to take. I think if you're getting in now, and you want to hold it for the long term, you're definitely taking a lot more risk. But at the end of the day, if you do want to hold this one till like 2030 and you are like me and you see big growth for the company, I don't think it matters too much. But of course, do expect to be at a loss for some time, as the stock price will probably adjust once the merger does go through. So I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do smash that like button, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye until then.